Well, there's a guy that wants me to make him a travel trunk, and we picked up this 30mm thick solid rosewood finger joined boards, and they're expensive. There isn't enough surface area to get 5 full pieces, so I'm going to get my top, a long side, another long side, and a short side, and the scrap or the drop is what I'm going to use to butt join together and remake my last side. Right now it's very heavy stuff, and it's very awkward to put through the table saw laterally, so I'm going to make my cross cuts first with the skill saw, with the circular saw. Now, I can't afford to make any mistakes in my cuts, so usually what I do is measure from the inside of the blade there to the outside of the base, and measure from my line over and mark that dimension on both sides and clamp a fence in. And finally I decided, why not just cut a fence that prevents me, or that saves me having to make those measurements. If I just put it on where my line wants to be, then I can just mark it there and mark it there, slide it over and clamp it in place. It's a lot faster. I don't know why it took me 25 years of working wood to think of that idea. The last job involved plywood and veneers, so I had a fine-tooth blade on here. Now I'm cutting solid hardwood, so I want to swap in the blade with less teeth. The distance between the teeth allows for the sawdust to excavate the cut easier. That way you don't get any smoking when you're making your cut. I'd really like to make my cross cuts first on this next piece, but I need the scrap to be as long as possible so I can make my third side of the chest cleanly. Alright, we've got our 2 long sides, our top and 1 short side. The short side is 78 centimeters. We've got 243. So 240 divided by 80 is 3. That means I'll get 3 lengths out of this, which is great because I can butt join them together with some oversized biscuits, and we'll have our shorter side. Well, the design changed. It's no longer going to be 90 centimeters tall, so I don't need 3 of those planks. I only need 2. Now it's 60 centimeters tall. Now I'm deciding on how to join them, and what I see over here is 11.41 cm, but the factory edge gives us 17.5 mil. Okay, and each section of those blocks are 17.5 mil. So I don't want an obvious join. I want it to look like it came out of the factory this way, so I'm going to join the two factory edges together with biscuits that I made myself out of oak. Okay, normally they give you those thin ones that are wafer-like and they absorb the glue and expand, and they do a really good job. But this is pretty thick solid wood, and so I made my biscuits with the grain going against. So if it were to want to snap, it would be really hard to break this thing this way. It'd be easier to break it this way, but it's oak, so I'm not worried. I think 4 will do the trick. We'll get that baby glued up today. Now when I'm placing these things evenly apart, but I want it really close to the edge of the board, but I don't want it to enter the area that I'll be carving dovetails. So I'm going to go with 4 centimeters. And that will be the location of my biscuits approximately. What I'm going to do is set the blade height so that I'm starting in the middle of the boards, and every time I adjust it, I'll work my way out. So 15 mil is there. I want to set it to my maximum depth, which I forgot about. Max. There. When I joined these two together, we got our 4 biscuits in and they fit real nice. But this seam is, I don't want it to be even a hair off, because these are thickness sanded already and 30 millimeters is critical. So I'm going to put one of these on bottom and one of these on top and clamp it. And what happens is my pressure's on the ends and wood tends to flex. I want to make sure I've got pressure on that seam. So I made these pieces of wood so that they're high in the middle, and when they squeeze, there's no way there can't be pressure in the middle. Well, I never worked with rosewood before, but I feel like it has some oil in it, like teak. And I was told that you hit it with mineral spirits first. That'll penetrate and dry out enough of the wood for the glue to penetrate and grab it. The use of the word what was it, expletives or something? It looks like it has something like expletives in it. I forget the word, but if you're allergic to them, you can end up in the hospital, it said. So, I wish I knew that before I started cutting it, but apparently I'm not allergic to them, so it's no big deal. So we're just going to take a precaution, let that dry, get them together.